Please be seated. I wonder if you noted or noticed the details in this gospel this morning. Every time I hear it, I become more aware of them. So Mary Magdalene is at the tomb, and the stone's rolled away, and the tomb is empty. So she runs to tell Peter and the other disciples, and Peter starts running to the tomb, and the beloved disciple starts running to the tomb also, and they have a race. And the beloved disciple wins. Did you notice that? So they get there, and the beloved disciple's waiting outside the tomb when Peter comes puffing up. And Peter looks in the tomb first, and he goes in the tomb, and he sees that it's empty. And then, just in case we didn't get it, we hear that the beloved disciple next goes into the tomb, but that he had gotten there first. And when he goes in the tomb, he sees and he believes, except exactly what he believes isn't clear, and it says they don't understand until later. And then what do these two people do, these two men who've been racing each other to get to the empty tomb? They go home. Mary Magdalene, however, stays there. She's waiting at the tomb, and she's weeping, and Jesus is still not there, but she looks down into the tomb, and lo and behold, there are people in there that Peter and the beloved disciple didn't see. There's an angel and another angel, one at the foot and one at the head of where Jesus' body had been. And they both say to her, and I assume they say it in unison because it says they asked her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she says, "They've taken away my Lord, and I don't know where he is, and I don't know what to do." And they say, "Don't be afraid. Don't worry about it. This is what he said would happen. He's risen. He is not here." So she backs out of the tomb, and she's still weeping because she still doesn't know where Jesus is, and she happens to notice a gardener. And so she taps him on the shoulder and says, "Could you just tell me if you took his body someplace, could you tell me where you took it? Because I will go get it. Just tell me where you took it." And Jesus turns around and he looks at her and he says, "Mary." And when he says Mary, then she knows who he is and she knows who she is. And she says Rabboni, meaning teacher. And then we don't see her grabbing onto him, but he says, "Do not hold me, because I go to the Father, but I need you to go take a message to the disciples. Go tell my brothers that I'm going to my Father and their Father, my God and their God." So she runs. This is the third time she's been running. She runs back to where the disciples are, and she says to them, "I have seen the Lord." That's the main thing that gets said in this gospel today. I have seen the Lord. What Mary Magdalene is doing is functioning as an apostle, because an apostle goes with the good news of who Jesus is, and she's the first person that goes and gives that good news. She gives it to the disciples who will become the apostles, but she is carrying an apostolic message. I have seen the Lord. One of the things that I've noticed all of Holy Week this year that maybe I haven't noticed as much before has to do with the details in every story that we've read, in everything that we've done all of Holy Week. There are details like lining up the candles for Tenebrae just exactly right. There are details for making sure that we have everything set up for Maundy Thursday the way we think it will work the best. There are details for last night. I don't know if you noticed that there's a fire pit out there, but we had the Great Vigil of Easter out there around a fire pit last night. And there are all kinds of details for that service. And then there are all kinds of details for this morning. One thing I want you to notice is the cross that you flowered. It looks different from when you arrived. And at 8 o'clock, all it was a bare cross with a bunch of mesh on the front. We flower this cross, not just because, the flowers are pretty, but because by helping do that, we begin to understand that this ugly method of crucifixion, this ugly method of death, has been made beautiful by the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And you helped do that this morning by putting those flowers in here. And one of the other things I've noticed this week that I've always noticed at Christmas time, but for some reason until I started thinking about it, I didn't realize I'd also seen it at Easter time, that at Christmas, those of us who are suffering or grieving or have had very bad news or had a death or found out that we have a cancer diagnosis or another diagnosis, at Christmas time that feels just especially awful. It does at Easter time too. And we come through Holy Week with all of those griefs and with those diagnoses and with whatever illnesses we have, whatever, maybe our family's blowing up, maybe our best friend has died or is dying. All of those things are what we bring with us through Holy Week, and we bring to the cross on Easter Day, and we bring them to the empty tomb. I can look around this room and see people who are not here, who were here last year. And that reminds me that on any given Easter could be our last Easter for any one of us. Now that's a very grim thing to say, but it also says that the resurrection happens and it's going to continue, and that our life in each other and our lives in Jesus Christ continue whether we're right here or not. This may be our last Easter in our physical form, but it's not our last Easter in the big picture of things. In the light of the resurrection, it's Easter now, and it'll be Easter then, and it'll continue to be Easter. So what I want us to remember, if we remember one thing, is what Mary said to the disciples, I have seen the Lord. And in saying that, she says, everything any of us need to know and everything any of us need to say. Amen.